In a quiet town on the edge of a sprawling city, a high school existed that looked like any other. Its brick walls, tall windows, and neatly kept lawns gave the impression of calmness and routine. Students walked the halls in cliques, chatting loudly, their backpacks bouncing as they moved from one classroom to another. But among the many teenagers, one girl seemed to flow through the corridors like a shadow. She was not tall, not particularly striking, and never drew attention to herself. Her hair was plain, her clothes simple, and her eyes often fixed on the floor or a notebook she carried. Teachers rarely noticed her, and classmates almost never talked to her. Her name was Alara. Alara's life at school was as ordinary as it could seem. She attended classes on time, completed assignments neatly, and rarely spoke unless required. Her presence was subtle, almost invisible, like a faint background hum. In math class, she answered questions quietly but correctly, often helping a confused student with a gentle nod or a soft word. In history, she would participate when called upon, offering brief yet thoughtful insights. Her classmates thought of her as shy, perhaps a little introverted. They never imagined the reality behind her calm demeanor. No one knew that at home. Lara's world was completely different. Her bedroom was a high-tech command center disguised behind the appearance of a normal teenager's room. Holographic screens lit up the walls, displaying star maps, tactical simulations, and encrypted messages. Stacks of medals and certificates lay in drawers, all from organizations that did not exist publicly. On her desk sat a small, compact simulator that could replicate battlefields from across the galaxy with astonishing detail. Each evening, she would immerse herself in these simulations, studying alien strategies, testing new maneuvers, and improving her already extraordinary skills. Every motion she made was precise, every decision calculated. She had survived battles that could have annihilated entire units. She had earned the nickname the Shadow Vanguard among those who knew her exploits. Her parents were proud but cautious. They had always known that their daughter was special, but they never revealed her history to anyone. Alara had joined a human interstellar defense program at a very young age. Her training was intense, grueling, and unrelenting. She had learned to pilot advanced spacecraft, master hand-to-hand combat, and lead squads in complex high-risk missions. Her mind absorbed tactics and strategy with a speed that astonished even seasoned commanders. Despite all this, she still lived in the mundane world of homework, cafeteria lines, and school dances. She had to blend in to hide the extraordinary nature of her life. Because the world outside, her home could not yet understand the full potential of a human warrior like her. On a normal Tuesday morning, Alara walked to school, her backpack slung casually over one shoulder. The air was crisp, the streets busy with cars and cyclists, and the sound of students' laughter floated through the air. She passed by groups of classmates talking loudly, exchanging gossip and jokes, yet they barely noticed her. She smiled faintly to herself, a small acknowledgement that she existed in this world, but she did not seek recognition. In her mind, the battlefield was far away. On distant planets and in spaceships, she had flown across the galaxy. Not in the crowded hallways of a suburban school. During first-period science class, Alara sat quietly at the back of the room. Her notebook was open, filled with diagrams of star systems and annotations of tactical movements. The teacher was discussing chemical reactions, but her thoughts were elsewhere. Reviewing strategies for a hypothetical alien invasion simulation she had run the night before. Despite her mental preoccupation, she answered the occasional question correctly, surprising classmates who thought she was merely daydreaming. Even in the most mundane tasks, her focus and precision were evident. At lunch, she joined a small table in the corner, not because she was lonely, but because it was easiest to remain unnoticed there. A few students waved at her, classmates who had learned her name over the months. But the conversation rarely went beyond small talk. She ate slowly, observing her surroundings with quiet attentiveness. Every movement, every gesture of the students was catalogued in her mind. She was learning, always learning, even in these ordinary moments. The skills that had kept her alive on alien battlefields now helped her navigate social environments with the same careful precision. Outside, the world of simulations waited for her. As soon as she returned home, she closed the door behind her and transformed into a different person. The plain walls of her bedroom were suddenly alive with information. Holographic displays projected entire star systems, showing troop movements, alien ship formations, and potential battle scenarios. She ran simulations with squads she commanded remotely, testing new tactics and analyzing outcomes. Her fingers moved swiftly across the interface, adjusting parameters, redirecting units, and issuing commands. Each decision had consequences, and each outcome taught her something new. In these moments, she was no longer a quiet high school girl, but a commander whose name inspired fear and respect in the galaxy's most dangerous zones. Her family knew the risks of her double life. News reports occasionally covered skirmishes between human fleets and alien forces, but the public never knew who was truly responsible for key victories. Ilara had been instrumental in many of these missions, her strategic mind and combat prowess turning the tide in situations where defeat seemed inevitable. Yet at school she remained ordinary, blending in with the crowd, her extraordinary abilities hidden beneath the surface. It was a delicate balance, but one she maintained with unwavering discipline. One afternoon, as she walked home, Ilara noticed a group of younger students struggling with a project on robotics. She stopped, crouched beside them, and offered simple guidance. Her instructions were clear and precise, and within minutes, the students managed to get their robot to move correctly. They looked at her with amazement, some whispering about how smart she was. But no one guessed the depth of her knowledge or the experiences that had shaped her abilities. Ilara simply smiled, helped them finish, and walked away. Returning to her home, where the true scope of her life waited, her evenings were filled with training and analysis. She would review footage of past missions, noting where human squads succeeded and where mistakes were made. She studied alien technology, attempting to predict their strategies, and practiced maneuvers in her simulator, pushing her mind and reflexes to their limits. It was a life of discipline, sacrifice, and constant improvement, and yet she never let it spill into her school life. Homework was done on time, assignments were neat and thorough, and she participated in school activities quietly. Her ability to compartmentalize her life was extraordinary, a skill developed from years of surviving situations where any lapse could mean death. On weekends, she sometimes went to the local park, a rare moment to observe humanity in its simplest form. Families played, couples strolled, and children ran across the grass. Ilara watched, learning from their interactions, noting emotions and reactions. It was both study and solace. Despite being a warrior who had faced the void of space and alien threats, she valued human connections, however small. She understood that true strength was not only measured in combat skill, but also in empathy, observation, and understanding. At school, no one suspected the truth. Teachers saw only a diligent student, classmates saw a quiet friend, and strangers saw an ordinary girl. Yet Ilara's mind constantly processed data, her instincts sharp, her reflexes honed. She was aware of potential threats, prepared for emergencies, and ready to act when needed. Her dual existence was a testament to human potential, ordinary on the surface, extraordinary beneath. She carried the weight of experiences that no one else could comprehend. Yet she wore her anonymity like a cloak as weeks passed. Ilara continued her routines, balancing school, home, and training with a skill that only someone with her background could manage. She participated in school projects, occasionally helping classmates with science experiments or math problems. She smiled when appropriate, laughed when a joke reached her, and nodded politely when addressed. And all the while, her mind remained vigilant, training never far from thought, her skills sharp and ready. Her life was about to change, though she did not know it yet. The galaxy beyond Earth continued its conflicts, and the reputation she had built in distant battles remained intact, waiting for the moment to resurface. In her quiet school, she was invisible, blending seamlessly into the background. But the extraordinary is never truly hidden for long, and soon the world around her would be forced to confront the reality of the human warrior, who had walked unnoticed among them all. The next day, Ilara walked into school with her usual calm, The morning sun filtered through the tall windows, lighting the hallways in a warm glow. Students moved in clumps, chatting and laughing, the hum of conversation filling the air. Alara navigated her way quietly, weaving through groups without being noticed. Some glanced at her briefly, a nod here, a smile there, but no one paused for long. She had perfected this art of invisibility, blending into the background so naturally that even her closest friends didn't truly know her. She was a phantom in a world that never stopped moving. In her first class, science. The teacher spoke about chemical reactions, but Ilara's mind was elsewhere. She glanced at the holographic wristband on her arm, a device she had smuggled from her past missions. It was tiny, yet it could project entire planetary landscapes, track movement patterns, and simulate complex combat scenarios. She tapped it briefly under her sleeve, running a quick simulation. Alien forces moved across terrain she had memorized from classified missions. She observed them, predicting their next moves, testing strategies silently, her eyes flicking between her notebook and the hidden display. The people around her were completely unaware of the extraordinary activity happening in her mind. At lunch, she joined the usual quiet corner table. A few students waved, classmates she occasionally helped with homework or small projects. Today, they were excited about a group assignment building a robotic prototype for the science fair. Alara listened carefully, her fingers tapping the edge of the table, eyes observing the pieces, wires, and sensors. When asked, she offered guidance, showing a simple tweak that made the robot respond correctly to commands. The group stared at her in amazement, their whispered comments filling the small corner of the cafeteria. Yet, even as she smiled and helped them, her thoughts drifted to simulations far beyond Earth. After lunch, a loud announcement echoed through the halls. The principal reminded students about a global broadcast that would cover recent space events. The news described skirmishes in far-off sectors, distant human colonies encountering alien patrols, and tensions rising between species. Most students watched casually, some chatting about the excitement of space travel, unaware of the danger beyond their screens. Alara, however, absorbed every detail. She knew firsthand the reality behind such reports. The broadcasts were watered-down versions, meant to maintain calm on Earth. The real conflicts were far more dangerous and complicated. She had fought in similar battles, led squads through attacks that could have obliterated entire colonies, and survived scenarios that would haunt anyone without training in her history class. She was asked to participate in a discussion about diplomacy and conflicts. She offered short, precise answers, weaving in knowledge that sounded like textbook learning but was actually informed by real experience. Teachers praised her, noting her insight, and some classmates began to pay more attention. Yet, she remained modest, never revealing the depth of her understanding. Her life was a careful balance. Excel in school just enough to appear normal, but keep the extraordinary hidden. It was a skill she had honed over years of discipline. After classes, Alara stayed behind in the library, ostensibly to study. She opened her notebook filled with diagrams, strategy notes, and observational sketches of alien tactics. Her mind moved quickly, comparing scenarios, predicting outcomes, and refining her strategies. The quiet room allowed her to focus completely, to analyze data without interruption. Librarians noticed her concentration, but they assumed she was simply a diligent student. The truth was far more complex. She was preparing for challenges far beyond the library walls, sharpening skills that could influence battles across star systems. Outside, the streets were busy with people returning home, the sun now higher in the sky. Alara walked calmly, her pace measured. Occasionally, she helped someone with directions or a small problem, her actions subtle but precise. Every interaction was observed, cataloged, and processed. She was constantly learning, adapting to human behavior, understanding emotions and responses that could help her in both school and missions. Despite her experiences in war zones, she valued these ordinary moments. Humanity's resilience, curiosity, and simple acts of kindness fascinated her at home. Her room transformed into the command center again. Holographic displays lit the space, showing troop movements, star maps, and tactical simulations. She ran drills, tested squad coordination, and refined strategies. Each scenario was designed to push her limits, to anticipate challenges that might arise in real combat. The skills she practiced here were honed from countless missions where failure meant death. She had led squads against alien forces, navigating complex terrain and unpredictable enemies. Every action she took was calculated, precise, and effective. Her parents occasionally peeked in, offering simple meals or reminders to rest. They were proud but careful, knowing the weight of their daughter's life. Alara barely acknowledged them, not out of rudeness, but because her mind was always partially in another world, a battlefield, a starship, a galaxy at war. She communicated efficiently, with short words and gestures, conserving energy and focus for the tasks that truly mattered. Her discipline was remarkable, a blend of human intelligence, training, and innate resilience. One evening, she received a secure message on her wristband. A routine check-in from a command center she had worked with months before. They were monitoring a sector known for alien incursions, seeking tactical advice and squad coordination. Alara responded with concise strategies, suggesting maneuvers that could prevent attacks or minimize casualties. Her reputation as a strategist remained intact among those who knew her true identity. She had become a symbol of human capability, a single individual capable of influencing the outcome of battles that spanned entire systems. Despite all this, her school life continued unchanged. She submitted homework on time, attended group projects, and participated quietly in class discussions. Students admired her intelligence, but did not comprehend the full scope of her abilities. Teachers noted her focus and diligence, sometimes puzzled by the depth of her understanding. She was both ordinary and extraordinary, a living paradox. The balance she maintained was delicate, but she had mastered it through years of experience and training. On weekends, she sometimes visited local events, blending into crowds, observing human behavior. She watched children play, noting their coordination, curiosity, and reactions. She observed adults interacting, negotiating, and expressing emotions. These observations were more than simple curiosity. They informed her understanding of human nature, helping her predict responses, communicate effectively, and maintain her cover while navigating both civilian and military worlds. Every moment was a lesson, every interaction a data point. Back at school on Monday, a small incident occurred. A fire drill brought chaos, students rushing through corridors, teachers shouting instructions. Alara remained calm, her movements efficient and measured. She helped a younger student who had tripped, guiding them safely to the exit. Her classmates noticed her composure, whispering about how unshakable she seemed. Little did they know, she had experienced far more dangerous emergencies, airlock failures, alien attacks, and life-threatening combat situations, yet her calm exterior had been forged in those fires. Ordinary chaos at school was nothing compared to what she had survived. During gym class, the teacher instructed students in team exercises. Alara participated, moving with agility and precision that surprised even the most athletic classmates. She avoided showing the full extent of her skill, performing just enough to appear competent and engaged. Her awareness of space, timing, and movement was unmatched, but she kept it subtle, careful not to draw undue attention. It was another exercise in control, blending extraordinary capability with ordinary appearance. Later, a group project on historical conflicts required students to present in front of the class. Alara contributed quietly, offering concise points, organizing information, and coordinating her team. Her classmates relied on her input, impressed by her clarity and efficiency. She guided discussions, suggested improvements, and ensured the project flowed smoothly. Again, she demonstrated leadership and intelligence without revealing the full scope of her experience. The room saw a competent, helpful student. The galaxy knew a master strategist. Evening returned, and with it, the familiar hum of her private world. She engaged in training, simulations, and analysis. Every session refined her skills, prepared her for missions that might come without warning. Her life was a continuous cycle of observation, learning, and improvement. She had survived the impossible, adapted to challenges beyond imagination, and yet maintained a life that appeared ordinary to everyone around her. It was this duality that defined her, a human warrior, unseen and unrecognized, quietly shaping both her world and those far beyond it. As the night settled, she reflected on the week. School had been routine, interactions uneventful, yet beneath the surface, her mind had been active, analyzing and preparing. She understood that the balance she maintained was fragile, that exposure or mistakes could bring unwanted attention, and yet she accepted the responsibility. Her extraordinary life was not just about survival or skill, but about potential, the human potential to rise, adapt, and excel in ways no one else could imagine. She lay down, her eyes scanning star maps one last time before sleep. Tomorrow would be another day of blending in, another day of silent observation and preparation. The galaxy continued its conflicts, the Earth remained largely unaware, and Alara continued her double life. Invisible at school, unstoppable in battle, she existed in both worlds. Her extraordinary nature hidden behind the calm, quiet exterior of a teenage girl. And she was ready for whatever would come next. The morning sun spilled across the school grounds, painting the brick walls in warm light. Alara walked through the hallways as usual, her backpack slung over one shoulder, her expression calm and unremarkable. Students jostled past her, talking loudly, laughing, and sharing stories about the previous night. She smiled faintly at a few friendly faces, but kept her focus ahead. To anyone watching, she was just another quiet student, blending seamlessly into the daily rhythm of the school. But her mind was active, running calculations, analyzing patterns, and recalling memories from distant battlefields she had survived in science class. The teacher introduced a project that required students to create a video presentation about a historical event. Most of the class groaned at the thought, but Alara's thoughts immediately went elsewhere. The project was a perfect opportunity, a chance to apply her technical skills without raising suspicion. She quietly planned her approach, knowing exactly how to create a presentation that would impress her peers while hiding the true content. When the teacher assigned partners randomly, she ended up with a group of students who had barely noticed her in the past. She nodded politely and accepted the assignment, keeping her calm demeanor intact. Back at home, she began to plan the video. Her room transformed into a command center as holographic screens flickered to life. She pulled old mission footage from secure storage, carefully reviewing each clip. The images were raw and intense, showing her leading squads through alien battles, executing maneuvers that could have devastated entire enemy forces. She edited the footage to highlight strategy and teamwork rather than destruction, knowing that too much intensity could alarm viewers or reveal more than she intended. Her fingers moved quickly across holographic controls, adjusting angles, timing, and sound, creating a presentation that was technically flawless, yet contained the barest hint of her true experiences. The next day, her group presented the video to the class. As the screen flickered on, most students assumed it was a simple history project, nothing more than a creative attempt to engage with the material. The first few seconds showed what appeared to be a young person in a uniform, moving calmly through what looked like a training exercise. But then the footage shifted. Suddenly, the classroom was filled with scenes of strategy, precision, and action, far beyond anything her classmates could imagine. Alara's hands moved units across simulated terrains, coordinating squads, dodging attacks, and executing flawless maneuvers. The room went silent as her peers watched, their eyes widening in shock. Whispers started to circulate immediately. Who was this girl? How could someone so ordinary in class perform these incredible feats? The teacher paused the presentation, unsure what to say, scanning the footage with a mixture of awe and concern. Even the principal, who had come to observe the class, was visibly unsettled. The images were not just of a skilled individual, they showed tactical brilliance and calm under pressure that no one thought possible for a teenager. Alara remained composed, standing quietly beside her group, allowing the footage to speak for itself. Her classmates stared, unable to comprehend the scale of what they were seeing. The silence was heavy, filled with disbelief. and the realization that everything they thought they knew about their quiet classmate was wrong. After the presentation, the classroom buzzed with conversation. Students whispered to each other, asking questions that went unanswered. Some were in awe, some afraid, and others simply confused. Teachers struggled to regain order, but the impact of the footage lingered. Alara's group returned to their seats and she smiled faintly, answering questions with careful honesty that hinted at skill without revealing the full extent of her abilities. She explained the teamwork and planning involved, the logic behind each decision, and how each move influenced the outcome. To the students, it sounded impressive, but grounded in theory. To her, it was reality, the same strategies she had executed countless times in life and death. Situations across the galaxy the next few days brought a change in the way students and teachers interacted with Alara. Some approached her with curiosity, asking about the video and her experience. Others avoided eye contact, unsure how to process the revelation. She answered questions carefully, revealing just enough to satisfy curiosity but keeping the truth hidden. Her calm demeanor never wavered, even as whispers followed her through the halls. The world around her had shifted slightly. The ordinary girl was no longer entirely ordinary in the eyes of her peers. At home, she reviewed the reactions, considering the consequences. She knew that such exposure could attract attention beyond the school. Government agencies and media could easily trace the video, risking the secrecy that protected her and her family. She carefully erased metadata, encrypted files, and ensured that no trace remained of her true identity. This was routine for her, a task as familiar as completing a school assignment. Her dual life demanded constant vigilance, balancing ordinary existence with extraordinary responsibility. Despite the attention, she maintained her school routine. Classes continued, homework was completed on time, and she continued to assist classmates quietly. Yet, there was a new layer of awareness. Every glance, every conversation, and every interaction carried weight. She observed reactions, learning how humans processed awe and fear. Her training on distant worlds had honed her perception of danger and human behavior. And now, it applied to social dynamics within a high school. Every moment was data, every response a lesson. Alara's parents noticed the subtle changes as well. They offered support, reminding her to stay cautious, and provided reassurance that her abilities, while extraordinary, were a source of pride. Her father quietly reminded her that visibility brought risk, while her mother emphasized the importance of maintaining humanity and empathy. Alara absorbed their guidance, balancing her instincts with their wisdom. She knew the line between exposure and anonymity was delicate, and that maintaining it required both skill and restraint. The following week, a school assembly was announced. The topic was leadership and teamwork, and several students were invited to share experiences. Alara was not initially chosen, but a last-minute change put her on stage. As she stepped forward, the audience recognized her, some whispering nervously. She spoke calmly, discussing the importance of preparation, observation, and trust. Her words were simple, clear, and relatable, yet every sentence reflected the depth of her experience. Students listened intently, inspired and captivated, unaware of the true source of her wisdom after the assembly. A few students approached, asking more detailed questions about strategy and problem-solving. Alara answered thoughtfully, providing practical advice that could be applied to school projects and group work. She never referenced her battlefield experience directly, yet her knowledge impressed and influenced those around her. Teachers observed quietly, realizing that her abilities extended beyond academics into leadership and critical thinking. Her impact on the school community was subtle but profound. Outside school, her life remained a blend of normalcy and preparation. She continued simulations, tactical training, and strategic planning. Holographic maps and command consoles filled her evenings, each scenario designed to refine skills, anticipate threats, and expand understanding. She was aware that her exposure in the classroom had changed perceptions, and she adjusted accordingly. Every interaction, every public moment, was measured to protect her identity, while allowing her to influence those around her positively. One afternoon, A local news crew visited the school for a segment on student achievements. Though not allowed to mention classified or personal details, they interviewed her group about the video project. Elara spoke with poise, emphasizing collaboration, learning, and creativity. Her responses were articulate and confident, drawing praise from the reporter. The coverage highlighted the project's success, inadvertently amplifying curiosity about her extraordinary abilities. Elara anticipated this, preparing responses that satisfied public interest without revealing classified experiences. Her classmates slowly adjusted to the revelation. Some were inspired, seeing her as a role model for skill, dedication, and intelligence. Others remained cautious, unsure how to reconcile the quiet student they had known with the extraordinary individual revealed through the footage. Elara continued to interact with both groups with grace, never flaunting her abilities, always helping where needed. Her presence became a subtle force within the school, a reminder that even the quietest individuals can have profound impact. As the week progressed, Elara received encrypted messages from the command center she had previously assisted. Alien activity in a nearby sector required strategic consultation. Though she was still a student, her expertise was valued and relied upon. She balanced schoolwork with analyzing tactical data, her mind constantly shifting between the ordinary and the extraordinary. Each message, each simulation, reinforced her dual existence, reminding her that her abilities could influence outcomes far beyond Earth. One evening, she prepared for another simulation. The holographic battlefield displayed enemy formations, potential ambush points, and resource logistics. Her squad, entirely human, moved under her direction with precision. She tested multiple strategies, calculated probabilities, and anticipated outcomes. Each exercise was not just practice, but preparation for real scenarios she might face in the future. Her dedication to mastery was unwavering, her focus absolute. She understood that human potential, if honed and applied correctly, could achieve feats that no one else might imagine. Despite her intense training, she never lost touch with her humanity. Small moments, helping a younger student, observing human behavior at the park, or simply sharing a laugh with friends, grounded her. She understood that empathy, compassion, and observation were as vital to her identity as tactical brilliance. The balance she maintained was delicate but essential, a harmony of extraordinary skill and ordinary life. By the end of the week, Elara reflected on the changes the video had caused. The classroom, the school, and even parts of the community now viewed her differently. She had become a quiet symbol of potential, intelligence, and skill. And yet, she remained the same person internally, disciplined, focused, and ready for any challenge. She understood that her life was extraordinary, not because of recognition, but because of capability, preparation, and the impact she could have when circumstances required it. As night fell, she activated her holographic systems one last time. Star maps rotated in her view, enemy positions were analyzed, and simulations ran continuously. She made adjustments, tested new tactics, and prepared for challenges that might never come. Sleep eventually claimed her, but even then her mind processed, calculated, and refined. The world around her was beginning to notice glimpses of her extraordinary life. But Elara remained calm, blending in while preparing for anything. Invisible at school, unstoppable in battle. She existed in both worlds, her true nature hidden beneath the quiet exterior of a teenage girl, yet ready to emerge when the time demanded. The school corridors buzzed with whispers and curiosity. Students moved through their classes. Ever since the video project, Elara had become the center of quiet attention. Some students stared openly, trying to reconcile the ordinary girl they had seen every day with the extraordinary figure on the screen. Others kept their distance, unsure how to approach her now that her capabilities were known. Teachers gave her subtle nods of respect, though no one fully understood the depth of her experience. Elara walked calmly, acknowledging greetings with a faint smile, never flaunting her skills or drawing attention. She had learned the importance of subtlety and balance, and every interaction was measured with care in the morning science lab. She assisted her group in finishing a complex experiment. Her hands moved precisely as she adjusted equipment, measured liquids, and explained steps to classmates. Every action was deliberate, teaching without dominating, guiding without revealing the full extent of her expertise. Students watched in admiration, slowly beginning to trust her knowledge and judgment. She smiled softly, realizing that influence could be exercised quietly, without needing to prove herself constantly. The battlefield had taught her discipline, but the classroom taught patience, observation, and the subtle art of leadership. During lunch, a few classmates approached, their expressions a mixture of curiosity and awe. They asked her questions about the video project, strategy, and even her thoughts on leadership. Alara answered with careful precision, offering guidance in ways that could apply to school life and teamwork. She avoided specifics that could expose her true experience, yet her words resonated deeply. The group left the table inspired and thoughtful, their perception of what a person could achieve quietly expanding. Alara continued eating, observing the hall, noting gestures, tone, and movement. Every detail added to her understanding of human behavior, sharpening skills that were valuable both on Earth and across distant worlds. In history class, a discussion about famous leaders prompted Alara to contribute. Her observations were concise yet insightful, offering perspectives that seemed grounded in research but were subtly informed by real-world experience. Her classmates listened, intrigued, some whispering to each other about how unusually perceptive she was. Teachers smiled, noting her growing confidence and ability to articulate ideas effectively. Alara remained composed, her expression calm, understanding that leadership was not always about visibility, but about influence, guidance, and careful action. After classes, a school-wide announcement brought news of a competition involving science, strategy, and teamwork. Students were encouraged to form teams and submit plans for a simulated problem-solving scenario. Alara's mind immediately began to calculate possibilities. She knew how to approach the challenge with efficiency, ensuring success without drawing suspicion. She joined her usual group, listening to their ideas, analyzing their strengths, and subtly guiding the plan. Her input was always measured, never dominating, and always enhancing the team's performance. Her classmates grew more confident under her direction, unaware that their quiet teammate had experience far beyond the classroom. At home, she prepared for the simulation. Holographic displays lit her room, showing maps, possible outcomes, and calculations. She ran multiple scenarios, analyzing results and optimizing strategies. Her mind worked in layers, combining tactical precision with logical reasoning. She adjusted for variables, anticipated mistakes, and ensured the team's success would be likely without exposing her true experience. Every simulation refined skills she had mastered over years of interstellar combat. Her dual life required constant vigilance, but she accepted it as part of who she was. Discipline, focus, and careful planning were second nature. The next day, the team competition began. Alara moved through the challenge with calm precision, coordinating her team's actions subtly. She guided decisions, offered insights, and ensured smooth collaboration. The judges observed, impressed by the coherence, innovation, and efficiency of the team. Students watched, amazed at how well the group functioned, slowly realizing that Alara's leadership had been key. The success was celebrated quietly without fanfare, yet it left a lasting impression on classmates and teachers alike. Her influence had been powerful, effective, and almost invisible. That evening, a secure message arrived from a command center she had previously assisted. Alien activity in a nearby system required immediate consultation. Though still a student, her expertise was valued and requested. She logged into encrypted channels, analyzing the situation, calculating probabilities, and recommending strategies. Her mind shifted seamlessly from the ordinary tasks of school life to the extraordinary responsibilities of a human warrior. Each calculation, each suggestion, carried weight, potentially influencing outcomes across star systems. Yet she remained grounded, her connection to humanity intact through small acts, observations, and careful empathy. Her parents watched quietly, aware of the responsibilities she carried. They provided guidance and reminders, emphasizing balance, caution, and discretion. Ilara absorbed their words, internalizing their wisdom. She understood that her abilities made her exceptional, but her humanity, empathy, and understanding allowed her to navigate the world effectively. The balance between skill and character, power and compassion is what made her truly extraordinary. At school, reactions continued to evolve. Students approached her with questions about leadership, teamwork, and problem-solving. She answered thoughtfully, offering advice that applied to projects, sports, and daily interactions. Her influence grew, subtly shaping the behavior and perspective of those around her. Teachers noted her ability to lead without domination, to inspire without boasting. Ilara's quiet presence became a steadying force within the school environment, a reminder that even unnoticed individuals could have a profound impact. One day, a reporter visited the school, covering the achievements of students in science and leadership programs. Ilara's team was featured for their success in the competition. She spoke confidently, emphasizing collaboration, preparation, and observation. Her words were simple, yet impactful, resonating with peers, teachers, and the reporter alike. The coverage highlighted the project and subtly acknowledged her guidance, raising questions among viewers without revealing the depth of her true experience. Ilara anticipated the attention, preparing responses that satisfied curiosity while maintaining the security of her identity. In the following days, a subtle tension lingered in the school. Some students continued to admire her quietly, inspired by her calm competence and intelligence. Others remained cautious, unsure how to approach the extraordinary individual they had glimpsed. Ilara navigated these dynamics with grace, maintaining normalcy while subtly guiding, assisting, and observing. Every interaction, every glance, every conversation became an opportunity to learn, influence, and grow. Outside the classroom, she continued simulations, tactical planning, and strategic analysis. Her holographic displays mapped enemy movements, potential ambushes, and resource management scenarios. She refined techniques, tested maneuvers, and prepared for challenges that might never come. Each exercise was both practice and preparation, ensuring her readiness for any situation. The discipline, focus, and expertise that had kept her alive in alien battles were applied meticulously to every simulation. Every scenario, every decision, despite her intense training, she never lost her connection to ordinary life. Small gestures, like helping a younger student with a project, observing families at the park, or sharing a quiet moment with friends, grounded her. She understood that empathy, observation, and kindness were as important to her identity as tactical skill. These moments reminded her of the human qualities that motivated her, informed her actions, and connected her to the world she had chosen to protect. As the week progressed, she reflected on the impact of her visibility. The classroom, the school, and even parts of the community had shifted in perception. Her quiet competence had become a symbol of possibility, intelligence, and subtle leadership. And yet, she remained humble, focused, and disciplined. Her extraordinary life was defined not by recognition, but by capability, preparation, and the positive influence she could exercise without seeking attention. In the evening, she prepared for another secure simulation. Her room glowed with holographic displays, mapping star systems, enemy formations, and squad movements. She ran multiple scenarios, adjusted strategies, and calculated outcomes. Every exercise honed her skills, expanded her understanding, and ensured readiness. Her dedication was unwavering, her focus absolute. She understood that her potential as a human warrior was not limited to combat, but extended to influence, leadership, and preparation. She embraced this potential fully, balancing extraordinary skill with the subtleties of daily life. As night fell, she reflected on the week. School had been challenging, yet rewarding. Interactions meaningful, yet subtle. The video had changed perceptions, but she had navigated the new attention with care and precision. Her dual existence, ordinary student by day, tactical strategist by night, continued seamlessly. She lay down, her mind scanning star maps, analyzing scenarios, and refining strategies. Sleep eventually claimed her, but her awareness remained sharp, her readiness constant. Invisible at school, unstoppable in battle. She existed in both worlds, prepared for challenges that no one else could imagine. Her extraordinary life carefully hidden behind the quiet exterior of a teenage girl. The following morning, the school felt different. Whispers followed Alara as she walked through the hallways, some students stealing glances, others hesitating to speak. The video she had created, along with her subtle demonstrations of leadership and skill, had changed how the entire school perceived her. But she moved with the same calm precision, acknowledging greetings with a faint smile and a nod, blending seamlessly into the rhythm of the morning bustle. She had learned that presence could influence without demanding attention, and she carried that understanding into every interaction in her first class. Mathematics, the teacher assigned a complex problem-solving exercise. Students groaned, but Alara's mind immediately started calculating. Her fingers moved swiftly across her notebook, sketching solutions and alternative methods. When she shared her approach quietly with a classmate struggling to understand, their eyes widened with surprise. Her explanation was simple, yet insightful, illuminating the logic behind the solution without revealing the depth of her true intelligence. Classmates began to notice not just her skill, but the ease with which she taught and guided others. Even in the simplest academic settings, she influenced those around her, quietly setting an example of focus, precision, and clarity. During lunch, a small group of students approached her with curiosity and admiration. They asked questions about leadership, problem-solving, and the strategies she had discussed in the video project. Alara responded thoughtfully, providing practical advice that applied to school activities, teamwork, and even personal projects. She remained humble, careful not to dominate the conversation, yet her guidance left a lasting impression. Students began to see her as a resource, someone whose calm, confidence, and knowledge could be trusted and relied upon. The whispers and curiosity in the hallways transformed into quiet, respect, and cautious admiration. History class presented a discussion on strategy and decision-making. Alara contributed with carefully chosen words, drawing on examples that were grounded in observable principles rather than her actual battlefield experience. Her classmates listened attentively, intrigued by the clarity of her reasoning and the depth of her perspective. Teachers observed with quiet appreciation, noting her ability to engage without overwhelming others, to guide without imposing. Her influence was subtle yet profound, shaping the learning experience for everyone in the room without requiring recognition or applause. After classes, an announcement invited students to participate in a school-wide strategic challenge. The task involved creating plans for resource management, teamwork, and problem-solving under pressure. Alara immediately recognized the opportunity to guide her team. She joined her usual group, listening carefully to ideas, analyzing strengths, and gently steering the plan toward success. Her approach was methodical, encouraging participation while ensuring efficiency. The result was a seamless collaboration, with each member contributing meaningfully. Judges were impressed, noting the coherence and creativity of the team's plan, while students marveled at the calm leadership that had guided them. At home, Alara prepared for a more complex simulation. Holographic displays filled her room, depicting star systems, enemy formations, and tactical scenarios. She ran multiple strategies, calculating probabilities and analyzing potential outcomes. Every move was deliberate, every decision informed by years of experience and training. While her classmates dealt with ordinary challenges, she faced simulations that mirrored real interstellar conflicts, each requiring precision, foresight, and adaptability. Her room was a sanctuary of focus and preparation, where the extraordinary could thrive hidden beneath the appearance of normalcy. Her parents observed her carefully, offering reminders about balance, caution, and perspective. They emphasized the importance of remaining grounded, even when her abilities set her apart. Alara absorbed their guidance, blending it seamlessly with her own discipline. She understood that capability without empathy and awareness could lead to isolation or recklessness. Her extraordinary skills were complemented by her connection to humanity, forming a balance that defined her as both a warrior and a person. The following week, students continued to respond to the impact of her presence. Some sought her guidance on group projects, while others quietly admired her calm competence. Teachers recognized her growing influence in the classroom, noting her ability to foster collaboration and understanding without overt authority. Ilara maintained her quiet demeanor, allowing her actions and words to shape the environment naturally. Her influence was a testament to the power of subtle leadership, of guiding through example and careful attention rather than force or recognition. One evening, she received an encrypted message from the command center she had assisted. Alien activity in a distant sector required immediate tactical advice. Though she remained a student, her expertise was valued and relied upon. She analyzed data, calculated probabilities, and recommended strategies. Her mind shifted seamlessly from the mundane world of school to the high-stakes environment of interstellar conflict. Each suggestion carried weight, potentially affecting the outcome of missions and the lives of those involved. Yet, she remained calm, focused, and methodical. Balancing her dual existence with grace and discipline, school life continued, and Ilara's influence grew subtly. Students began to notice patterns in her behavior. The quiet observation, the careful attention to detail, the ability to guide without dominating. She became a model of focus, intelligence, and calm leadership. Her classmates sought her input, respected her perspective, and learned from her example. Teachers recognized her ability to inspire collaboration and critical thinking. Though she remained ordinary in appearance, her impact on the school community was extraordinary. Outside the classroom, she continued simulations and training. Holographic maps displayed tactical scenarios, enemy formations, and resource management challenges. She tested strategies, refined techniques, and prepared for unpredictable outcomes. Each simulation honed her skills, ensuring readiness for real situations that could arise without warning. Her dedication was unwavering, her focus absolute. The discipline and mastery she exhibited were a reflection of human potential, the ability to rise above ordinary limits through preparation, observation, and skill. Despite the intensity of her training, she maintained connections to everyday life. She helped classmates with projects, observed human behavior in parks, and shared moments of laughter with friends. These ordinary experiences grounded her, reinforcing empathy and human understanding. She recognized that her extraordinary abilities were most effective when balanced with awareness of human emotions, relati.